What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. So to start this video off, I wanted to give a huge shout out to all my subscribers, or all my current subscribers, because a couple nights ago we hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. This is absolutely awesome. I can't thank you guys enough. For those that don't know, this is a pretty big milestone in the YouTube community. This is kind of the first step to becoming a real content creator on YouTube. It's just a big deal. I wasn't sure how long it would take me to get here. I knew I'd get here at some point, but you guys made it happen. So thank you very much to all my current subscribers. If you're new here, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out. Join along with everybody else that's following the channel. Should be some good stuff coming up. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the power/performance mods that I have done to my truck, and then I will be going over kind of my tentative build plan for the future for this rig. For those of you that are new here, the truck I'm talking about is my 2000 F250 7.3 liter Powerstroke. That's kind of the main highlight of the channel. That's the truck I own right now. That is the truck that the majority of my videos are based around for the time being. Probably be the highlight of the channel for a while on. So before we get into the whole build of things, I wanted to let you guys know, I always forget to say this, and I keep meaning to say it. I do have a full build list in the description below. All the links should be provided. Just about everything I've done to the truck should be in that list. There may be a few things I've missed. If something seems left out, leave me a comment and I'll try to add it. But everything I've done to this truck should be in that description below the video and below all my videos. I try to keep it updated as we go along. So I will say that Amazon links actually do help out the channel. It doesn't cost you guys anything extra. You guys are paying the same price, but basically the channel gets a little bit of a cutback if you purchase things through those links. Basically, you guys pay the same price and the channel gets a very small cutback and Amazon makes a little bit less money. Basically just another way to support the channel. It's not much, but every little bit counts. In every single one of my videos, that is all listed in the description if you feel like checking it out. So now enough rambling, let's get into the build of the truck. Alright, so here we are under the hood of my 7.3 liter Powerstroke. So to start off with, kind of go basic and start getting more in depth. So what this is my 6637 intake. Very common upgrade for Powerstroke owners. It's a nice cheap filter that filters well and flows a whole lot of air, and so it's pretty common for people to put them in there. I've had this in my truck, or in this truck, and my previous 7.3, and I've been pretty happy with it. So moving on from there, look back behind the turbo, right back there. That is my 4-inch downpipe that goes to a 4-inch exhaust out the back of the truck. Not a whole lot to be said about that, but it is a nice upgrade that allows the engine to breathe a little bit better. The stock downpipes, I believe, are 3 or 3.5 inch on these Super Duties, and on the OBS trucks they're a whole heck of a lot worse. If you have an OBS truck, I would highly recommend getting rid of that stock downpipe. It's pretty hard to fit a 4-inch downpipe on an OBS truck without massaging the firewall a little bit, but even just a 3-inch downpipe is a huge improvement over the factory downpipe. So if you have an OBS truck, I would highly recommend changing out that exhaust system. Moving on from there, in terms of airflow, again, I have the Riff Raff air intake heater delete plug, which is what you see right there. So what that does is these 7.3 Super Duties have an air intake heater that we used kind of for emissions control purposes to help reduce smoking and hazing at idle in extremely cold temperatures. Very few people actually have that thing be functional because they operate in such cold temperatures, and when they do, it doesn't really matter. And so it takes up a large portion of the intake piping, and so it helps to get rid of it. Just pull it out, put the plug in, and free up some airflow going into your engine, because that blocks up probably close to 25% of your actual intake, if not more. That's all kind of the basic stuff. Now get into the fuel system of my truck. If you are thinking that something seems to be missing right here, you would be correct. I do not have my factory fuel bowl in this truck anymore. I have a completely custom fuel system built by CNC Fabrication. I've been super happy with their product so far. Seems to be good quality. I haven't had any problems with it. Going into it, you will see I have somewhat of a billet block down there. It's the blue block that the sensor wire is plugged into and this fuel line is routed into. Coming off of that, I have this fuel line on the left right here. I have a fuel line going back there on the left, right behind it, going towards the back of the engine. I have another fuel line coming off that, kind of straight out the back of the block, and then another one routing to the right. So hopefully you guys can all see that. It is a 4-line feed kit. So what that means is I have fuel going to all 4 corners of the heads on this truck. Now that is a big improvement over the stock Super Duty fuel system, because regularly you only have fuel going to that back corner and this front corner. So what this fuel system helps prevent is, or fix, is the dead-headed fuel system that these Super Duty 7.3 Powerstrokes had. Like I said, from the factory they ran with one fuel line to the back of that head, one fuel line to the front, and it was plugged at either end. So what this allows is fuel to go to all 4 corners, so the injectors at the front and the back are getting full fuel just like the other injectors, which is always good for the lifespan of your injectors. With this fuel system, I have my fuel pressure sensor hooked up to my Edge Insight CTS2 monitor, which I will show inside the truck. That's where I monitor my fuel pressure right before it goes to the heads. So that fuel line that you see there is my fuel line that feeds down underneath my truck to my AirDog 165 4G pump, and then supplying fuel to that pump is a GNR diesel sump kit that I put on the bottom of my fuel tank. If you're interested in more about this whole fuel system, I have a video on it, or multiple videos on it. Feel free to check them out. Moving on to kind of the meat and potatoes of the whole system is the new injectors that I put in the truck a number of months ago. I went with 160 or AC code injectors. For those that don't know, they are 160cc injectors with 0% over nozzles, which basically means that they have stock nozzles on them. I could probably film a whole video on why I chose to go with the 160 shot AC code injectors. If you guys are interested in my reasoning behind choosing that specific injector over all the different other options, feel free to let me know and I can put together a nice video for that, kind of giving my reasoning. There is some logic behind it and some very specific reasons as to why I chose those specific injectors. That is kind of the last component under the hood that I have done so far, adding some power and performance to this 7.3 Powerstroke. Alright, so inside the truck, like I said, I had my fuel pressure gauge routed to my Edge Insight CTS2 monitor. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. There are some issues with it, but I am pretty happy with it. If you want to know more about that, I do have a video on it. And then down here, we have my PHP Hydra chip. I know it says full force diesel, that's because that's who I ordered it from. But it is a PHP Hydra programming chip that plugs into the computer of your truck and allows you to change tunes on the fly. This is what I have my tuning on. I do have custom tuning built for my truck by Brian Jelich at Jelly Build Performance. Overall, I am very happy with the tunes written by him. He is definitely one of the top programmers or tune writers in the country for these trucks. So that's who I am running my tunes through. And those tunes are kind of the last piece to the puzzle to my whole performance setup on this truck. For those of you that might not know, these are actually hand controls that allow me to drive from being in a wheelchair. So I don't actually drive with my feet, I drive with my hand controls. You can see gas pedal, brake, and then of course, Brody handle. I have a video on those. It was actually my first video. It's not very good. Perhaps I should go back through and refilm it, but those are my hand controls. Alright, so here we go on the side of the truck. Give you guys the best angle I can. Got my AirDog pump up there, and then it is routed down to my GNR fuel sump kit. You got the feed line and the return line off the AirDog pump. Nothing too crazy.
But that is my setup.
Alright, so now that we kind of got all of that out of the way, what do I plan to do to this thing in the future? So, I guess we'll start up front and work our way back. Up front, I would love to put a brand new drop-in KC turbo on it. I've thought about doing a T4 turbo, going the full shebang on it, but that might be a little overkill for where I'm at right now. We will see, but I think right now I'm tentatively thinking to put a KC 300 turbo in there, and I think that should be a very, very complementary setup to the injectors that I currently have in the truck. Of course, with that, probably a boost fooler. But other than that, just about everything under the hood is just about done. Because of the injectors I'm running, I shouldn't have much, if any, issues with my high pressure oil pump. If anything, it should actually be running better now than what it was before, and based on the numbers that I'm seeing, it seems to be. So that should have plenty of life left in it, but it is a possibility down the road that I might replace my high pressure oil pump with a more performance one. Who knows, we will see. And then, of course, starting to add power to the rig. It is on a stock transmission, so at some point down the road I will most likely end up putting a built transmission in there. There are a few builders that I've been looking at, Samwise being one of the biggest ones. I would love to do a BTS tranny as well, but that might be a little out of practicality, for one, price, and two, where he is located at. But we will see. At some point down the road, probably a built transmission. As far as performance mods go, I think that is just about as far as I'm going to be taking this truck for the foreseeable future. Based on my research, that should all provide me, or add up to, around a really, really solid 350 horsepower truck, give or take some, but a very, very solid truck. Now I know that's not crazy horsepower. This is my daily driver, so I'm not looking for something with crazy horsepower. I'm looking for something that's reliable. And so I think with all those mods put together, I should have a nice, reliable truck that has some good get up and go and can easily get out of its own way and tow what I want it to tow. Now there's I could make a whole separate video on different cosmetic things that I would like to do this truck. A lot of stuff will be coming in that department, but as far as performance goes, she's getting fairly close to being complete for the time being. Who knows down the road if I end up picking up another truck and building this thing to be a little more of a play truck. We'll see, but for now I think that's most of the performance stuff that I have planned for it. So a new turbo, possibly a new high pressure oil pump down the road, a built transmission would be nice, and then I would love to play around with some different fuel systems. This fuel system's good. It's been serving me well. I haven't really had any issues with it, but I like to be able to be experienced in a variety of different things, give good recommendation for you guys and as well for myself. I just like to know. So who knows, maybe down the road I'll end up doing a different fuel system on the truck. I don't live that far from I-Rate Diesel Performance, and I know they have a good, reliable fuel system that a lot of people like, so I may look into trying that thing out. We'll see. But yeah, there's the truck. There's the performance mods I've done to it, what I'm looking at doing to it. If you guys have any recommendations, or if you want to just have it this, leave a comment or leave something in the comments below on if this was your rig, what you guys would do to it, or what direction you guys would go to it. I would love to hear what you guys think on this. Again, we'll go into the whole cosmetics and looks of everything later. Performance wise for now, what would you guys do to this truck based on what I have done to it already? So that'll be a wrap on today's video. Happy Friday to you all. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Get some work done on your rigs. It's absolutely beautiful weather here. Hopefully it's the same for you guys. As always, if you liked the video, leave it a thumbs up. If you got something to say, leave it in the description below. All of your guys' interaction with the channel really helps YouTube start sharing the channel more, allowing more and more people to see it. So I encourage you to interact with the channel. If you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.